Ow. Oh, God. Something just hit me in the face.
Oh, no. Elaine. Sorry.
Oh, Felicia, I didn't know you were hiding behind my couch. Did you bring a frozen pizza? Thanks. I don't know if you just noticed, but a giant stack of books just hit me in the fucking face. So let me open up this stack of books because I could
open that utility knife up.
There we go. Oh, are you licensed to have that?
I got that for my art degree.
Your art degree. And now you're in the well. Okay. Ooh, look at these books. Felicia, these are about Willy Wonka, but
are those the sacred tomes? I've been looking for those for years.
We didn't even have to go in a cave this time. Oh my God, because last time we came across these tomes, we were in a cave. We've been in a cave when we found the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book, but this time it came to us.
We've been in
which is
a lot of
unnerving.
caves, actually, Elaine. Now
so
that I'm
many
thinking
caves.
about it, you went in that one dungeon to get the Timothée Chalamet Infinity Stone. And you That's not a joke. That's an intro we've done.
Jesus. Anyway, we're in the well. No one's talking to us down here anyway. We just have ourselves. But look, this book I don't know who wrote it, but there's a lot of words I've never seen. Storylines I'm realizing that don't quite exist. Felicia, I hate to say it. We have to whisper it. Come closer. I don't want the rats to hear. I would like the record to stand that was Felicia burping and not me. I did not ask her to lean in as I burped into the microphone. It fits, but I did not do that. This lady burped 4 times in the original intro when we did this.
We're on like 7, dude. I'm a fucking machine over here. I don't know what's happening.
Little
this
bubbles.
Tea's going right through me.
Little bubbles. Yeah, all that bubbly, spicy tea that just comes back. Anyway, lean in closer and don't burp in my face this time. Uh-huh. I think it's fan fiction.
Is it?
Felicia, we already went through this once. Do you think we're strong enough to do it again? Can we read this out to the Wonka Scholars?
I'll go get my armor out the closet.
Okay, I'm going to take my meds. What a wild start. Anyway, yes, guys, we did it again. Ooh,
we did it again.
Stop us if you tried. We did it again. We went and tippy click clack clacked on our typewriters, and we created some more fanfiction for you.
Yeah. So we've committed ourselves back to the discipline that is the art of writing well-written but terrible Willy Wonka fanfiction.
Well-written because it was written in the well.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Call the firemen.
The machinations of our mind are just so amazing.
Wow. Well, it's already chaos now. I guess we should first dip our toes into this little kiddie pool, and I see this tiny little boat coming towards me, and I'm picking it up, and yet again, it's Pirate Mini Felicia. I can't believe this is a bit that has already happened.
Wait, when did this bit happen?
Yes. God, I forgot what episode it is, but I was like, oh, you're coming over on the Wonka Watch, boat, and then, you came off and you had a parrot, and then you...
What the fuck? I do not remember this.
It's definitely a bit, and I don't remember. Oh, no. Wait. Let me fan fiction it, though. Let me redo it, though.
Okay. Listeners, please email us if you know what the fuck Elaine is talking about.
What color are your eyes?
Blue.
Felicia's blue orbs, deep as the pool of the pooliest pools, bored into me as she opened her mouth to say words that I had never heard before. I, with my beautiful hair and perfect self, I'm good at everything. I can tap dance, sing, and build my own birdhouse. Walked forward and slapped her. Tell me what you know.
So, this is kind of crazy. But for some fucking reason, Gordon Ramsay is involved in Mr. Beast's chocolate factory bullshit.
This week's Wonka Watch includes Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
You're telling me that Gordon Ramsay has now entered the chat room?
Yeah.
Gordon Lee Ramsay?
Is that his middle name?
I don't know. It flowed. It felt right. It is now. Oh God, tell me more.
So Mr. Beast released a tweet, I guess today or yesterday, that said, in our recreation of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, we have Gordon Ramsay, a chocolate waterfall / river, and a custom-built warehouse full of candy challenges to decide who wins it. What is the it? Are they winning a warehouse full of candy challenges? Because that will help literally no one. And he said, can't wait for you to see this video. And I do want to apologize. I said before that Mr. Beast wouldn't wear the Willy Wonka costume and that he'd just wear a hoodie and it would be stupid. He is wearing the Willy Wonka costume, but somehow, even though he's wearing it, it still looks like he's wearing a hoodie in like a metaphorical sense.
Gotcha.
He's wearing a screen accurate costume, but I'm like, he's wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
He is just wearing like normal khakis, which I think is my issue. It's not the worst costume, but he just has Gordon Ramsay sitting next to him, nipples incredibly visible through the t-shirt.
That's a classic Gordon nip slip if I ever seen one.
Those are some teats. No, I'm not gonna.
Whoa, no, we are not doing that. Nope.
I'll milk those teats for the cream sauce. All right, Master Chef.
No.
What the fuck am I even saying?
I don't even fucking know. I see what you mean though. But I am proud, at least.
I'm glad he's not just wearing a hoodie. I'm very happy.
Yes,
actually, you know what, Mr. Beast? I'm going to give you a pat on the back. I've been overly critical of you. This isn't bad. This isn't terrible. The hat's a little small, but it's okay. Small.
You know, I guess it's how you wear the hat.
You could have gotten Gordon in costume, but I think that's more his fault rather than yours.
Yes.
He's Gordon not giving Ramsay, the enthusiasm I demand.
Gordon Ramsay dressed as an Oompa Loompa. Skipping down the street with Hugo Loompa. It's okay. Loompa? Whatever. Dreams that should never be realized.
Goompa
Loompa. Great. Well, maybe I have a feeling Mr. Beast, he just gives out lots of money. So it'll probably be like $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000.
Yeah.
Like a stupid amount of money.
We'll definitely watch the video. Don't worry. It'll be an episode when it comes out. There's no way we won't.
You don't need to worry. I'm a little worried. It'll be fine. Whatever.
Unfortunately,
I'll just schedule therapy.
Are we going to have to enter Mr. Beast Wonka into canon? I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to. Okay.
We are the keepers of who is in the Wonkaverse and not.
We are the Wonka gatekeepers.
We are the Wonka gatekeepers. And I am.
Mr. Beast, you're not allowed past these golden gates, unfortunately.
Tom and Jerry, they slipped in very casually, but we are keeping them. They're outside.
I think, Elaine, you might be a little upset with what I've written today.
I am okay if they die.
No, he doesn't die. That's why I think you'll be upset.
Well, it's okay. I accept whatever. Art is art.
Art is art, and that's what the message we want to send with this podcast today.
That's what we're trying. We want everyone to be inspired
Wonka
to
Watch
create their own things.
Art.
We support the arts.
We want it to be publicly known that Wonka Watch believes art.
Speaking of art, should we dive in?
Yes, I cannot wait. I've got my little toes up to the edge of the kiddie pool, and I'm so excited to dive in because we put all the books in the kiddie pool, and we're gonna dive into them Scrooge McDuck style. It's very exciting for us.
Well, whoa, my siren song has brought you into the pool. The first up thing we're doing, Felicia.
Sorry, I just reflected at the conversation we just had, and it was fucking insane.
I think we're having a very it's I don't know what you call it, like breaking the fourth wall within our own podcast. I feel like we're looking at this podcast for the first time as a complete outsider, hearing ourselves talk and going, what the literal fuck have we been saying?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah. But the answer is not in this episode, nor is it in this
no, this episode's only going to make the mystery deepen further.
Anyway, so I was inspired by your love of AIs and how you have a fan fiction AI. And I was thinking, well, you know, when we do fan fiction, we always just think straight short story format.
Yeah.
You know what we haven't touched on? Poetry. So Google has a poetry AI, and it's called...
For real?
Yeah. And it's called Verse by Verse. And what you do is you're on a homepage and you get to select as many famous poets as you want to inspire what the poem is. I didn't realize you could click more than one. And then you can write your own sentence, and then the AI will produce, I don't know if they're direct lines from their poems or if they just kind of connect words and stylings that the poet used, and then you just click that sentence. So basically what I've done is a mixture of needing to add in a line so that the poem can kind of make sense, but basically full on nonsense. Okay. But I think it's really deep. So if you don't get it and it doesn't make sense, you're just stupid. So my first poem is called The Chocolate River, inspired by Emily Dickinson, written by Elaine Best. Here we go. The Chocolate River. His eyes, like shimmering sapphires, laid my neighbor in the rainbow's beam. The chocolate, so sweet, yet bitter upon my lips, underneath my native soft eclipse. The sugar bent to herself to be a fog, the chocolate river twinkling in the bog. But to a smile on the children arose, just to the past, in the past it goes. So weird you're not snapping. Were you like not?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was really vulnerable.
I love it.
I shouldn't have forced that. How did that make you feel?
I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I got very excited when the children got mentioned. I was like, oh, like the children, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I like the chocolate river being in a bog. I think that's very interesting. Yes. Willy Wonka's instead of the chocolate room, why couldn't he have made the chocolate bog? That's a great question, and one I would like to be answered.
Intriguing. Chocolate bog makes me think swamp, makes me think Shrek, makes me think Shrek Willy Wonka crossover. Man, art is so inspirational for other art.
You've made a lot of jumps there. So
yeah. I had my jump rope. I was part of jump rope club in elementary school, which was a DIY club that I became president of.
I'm actually, I do need to mention real quick, when we were doing our first episode, I was looking at a lot of different fanfiction sites to see if there was any like prominent Willy Wonka fanfiction for us to review. And there wasn't really anything. So I didn't go, but somebody on fanfiction.net had a whole account just writing Willy Wonka inspired poetry. So this is like very in line.
Oh, shit.
So whoever it was.
Sorry that mine's better than yours.
No, Elaine.
I'm kidding. No, mine is not better. It's an AI and it makes no sense. I mean, I love the line, the sugar bent to herself to be a fog. Man, that has so many layers that are so complicated. My brain refuses to even attempt it.
Yeah.
So that was my first poem. The second one, I thought it'd be nice, which kind of weirdly fits the theme of this episode so far, of us like taking a step back and looking at what we have done as a podcast. So this poem is called Wonka Watch, and it has been inspired by 3 poets: Paul Laurence Dunbar, William Cullen Bryant, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. A podcast not tame nor simple draws to it the cheerful hour. Their white necks with the desert air linger the long, long singing muse. Though a damp and capitalized memory, maids shall get a meal. Ravioli sleepy bold, duty on the Nutella. Came forth the glorious hosts with smoke, Willy Wonka by a whisper of the wind.
Wow.
Damn.
I do love ravioli.
Shit, I know.
That's crazy. I knew that, and definitely wasn't an addition by Elaine.
This just goes to show Google knows everything. That was Paul Laurence Dunbar's part. He loved ravioli and Nutella. That's the truth right there. Damn. Well, those are my poems. I hope everyone feels a little more enlightened, and now you can recite that at your next poetry reading.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. What's next, Felicia?
Well, next, in the spirit of stepping back, we have to look and realize this podcast doesn't just affect us. It also affects other people. And we were actually sent in a fanfiction by someone who listens to the podcast, which we're very excited about, but also we apologize.
We did that to you. We did that to you.
I
assume that wouldn't have happened normally. So just sorry, but thank you.
Yes. So this was by our listener, Kira. And Kira and I actually ended up on a very similar wavelength. We both got a little bit multiversal with it all. But I wrote mine before I read Kira, so we just were on a similar brainwave right there. But I'm going to read Kira's beautiful fan fiction titled The Multiverse of Wonkas. Timmy Wonka was sitting in the factory alone. He was sad since he had no friends at all. He suddenly got an idea. Wait, I don't have to be alone. If I figure some way to jump through different timelines, I could find other Wonkas. Timmy Wonka went to work building the machine. In about an hour, it was completely... Sorry. About an hour, it was complete. This is it. Now I won't be alone. Timmy Wonka hit the button to the machine and traveled through a mystical chocolate tunnel. In a blink of an eye, Timmy was in a new reality. What the... Timmy Wonka looked around. He was in his factory still, but it was different. It was very CGI. Suddenly, a long, wrinkled leather glove was on Timmy Wonka's shoulder. What are you doing in my factory, sir? Timmy Wonka turned around. He saw a taller man who kind of looked like a girl. Are you a Wonka? Of course I am. Name is Johnny. Timmy smiled at Johnny Wonka. Look, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm you from another universe. I wouldn't be that surprised, an anonymous voice said. Timmy Wonka turned around to see another man in a top hat in the shadows. As the strange man walked out, he saw he had a similar outfit to Timmy, except his coat was purple. Looks like there's more Wonkas to add to the party. Timmy Wonka looked shocked. What should we call you? Gene. In my opinion, I'm the best Wonka. Johnny Wonka rolled his eyes. I beg to differ. Timmy Wonka stepped in between the two Wonkas. I'm so confused. I thought I was going to one reality. How did it end up having two Wonkas? Gene Wonka leaned towards the kid. Don't you see, kid? When you went through, it created more timelines and crossed different timelines into others. Timmy Wonka looked confused again. Gene Wonka sat on the candy rock and continued. When you went through, you brought more Wonkas with you from other timelines, and now we're trapped in one timeline. Timmy Wonka looked shocked. So all the Wonkas are trapped here? Gene Wonka smirked. Yep, for eternity. Timmy Wonka fell to his knees. No! Timmy Wonka began to sob. I just wanted one Wonka friend, not all the Wonkas. Suddenly, all three Wonkas heard a laugh in the distance. They all got up and stayed close and moved towards the sound. What was that? Said Johnny Wonka. I don't know, but whatever it is, we need to see what it is. Timmy Wonka linked arms with the other two Wonkas. We go together. They make their way down to the river to see a dark figure. He looks evil. Well, well, well. More Wonkas. That means more children to kill. He looks up and sees the three Wonkas. Christian's the name. Killing's the game. I love that. Thank you so much, Kira. That is a work of art.
Oh, claps.
God. Claps and snaps.
I just love that. I only wanted one Wonka friend, not all
Wonkas. That was very good.
Oh my god. Thank you for sending that in. That just warmed my heart and made me feel unsettled, which is exactly what you wanted in a fanfic.
Exactly. I'm both proud and disturbed that I've helped inspire that in some way.
Well, since that was like right in the same vein as yours, would you like to like do a nice little, like, get on the trolley? We're on that station. Hi, Kira.
Yes.
You're gonna join us in the trolley, you know. Toot, toot, toot. I don't know what trolleys sound like.
So my fanfiction, I was gonna write a few different small ones, and then I ended up writing 13 pages of one fanfiction, and so we're just gonna have that one only. I got a little too into it, so I'm gonna have this split up between multiple parts, and we're gonna keep coming back to it throughout the episode. It's a little bit, we're gonna get different chapters. It'll be fun. It'll be really fun.
It's like you're watching Pretty Little Liars on ABC Family, and we're gonna have commercial breaks, and you're like, what's gonna happen next?
This was entirely 100% inspired by a prompt that Elaine's roommate Timothée Chalamet did leave on my on our Instagram when we asked for fanfiction suggestions. So thank you, Timothée Chalamet.
Thanks, Timmy.
Giving us content once again. Let's just jump right into it. This is the first chapter, titled Wonka's Favorite Day. Ever since Charlie moved into the factory, things have been different. They've been better, for sure. No more is Willy forced to rush between obscure corners of the factory all on his own to fix machines he barely remembers making, and honestly, the kid's probably a better inventor than him. He has a mind for practicality that Willy never managed to develop. Charlie's father had also gone to accounting school a while back, and Willy has certainly been putting the man to work. Wonka always kept his paperworks in a room he calls the snow globe. If he really needs something, he would just kind of dive in there, Scrooge McDuck style, and swim around a little until he found it. Under Mr. Bucket's influence, though, all of the files have found their rightful homes, so while the room is less fun, things are actually able to be accessed. Additionally, Mr. Bucket found that Wonka has been dodging his taxes for years. Not on purpose, by any means. Wonka just legitimately didn't understand the concept of taxation and hasn't opened mail for about 3 years. So yeah, things were better, for sure. But no matter how much a good influence the buckets were, Willy often found himself exhausted of them. Turns out that holding oneself up in a factory for over a decade can permanently deplete the social battery, something Willy found to be distinctly apparent as he cringed through the seventh... Oh my god. Why do I write like a tongue twister? Like, I'm not making it easy on myself. It turns out that holding oneself up in a factory for over a decade can permanently deplete the social battery, something Willy found to be distinctly apparent as he cringed through the seventh family dinner of the week. To remedy his social exhaustion, Willy had developed a new habit. Each Thursday, Wonka would sweep... Oh my god! Each Thursday,
having your Wonka exorcism.
Literally, each Thursday, Wonka would sneak for, and it's also like I still have to burp a little bit, so like I'm like that's what I'm thinking about half the time, and I think that's the problem.
Oh my god!
Each Thursday, Wonka would sneak out from his room in the morning to avoid any conversational accostaments from the senior buckets and dash up to the 7th floor of the factory, the home of his glass elevator. Thursdays were Wonka's day to do as he pleased, and what he pleased was to get a day completely alone. Wonka had had plenty of adventures in the glass elevators. He'd been to space and back, gone to the North Pole, and even had a brief stint as a warden of hell. But these days, Wonka was more interested in just a quiet place to sit. Willy had made the elevator soundproof for space travel, but it was also incredibly effective at silencing the rants of Grandma Georgina. He pulled a lever right underneath the massive panel of buttons, and out from the floor popped his Wonka Chair 3.0, an ugly floral thing with a bright blue fleece on top. Wonka jumped and did a little spin to plop onto the chair and retrieved his deluxe edition of Oscar Wilde's complete plays from where he had previously stashed it in his hat. And so Wonka's special day alone began. A good while later, Wonka had gotten very absorbed into reading. His hat had slid down his face to the point where it was basically resting on his nose. Which, to be fair, was on his forehead, and he hadn't even noticed. Wonka felt a little stiff in the leg, so he stretched his left leg out and off the chair. It was a relaxing choice, and one that Wonka felt quite proud of himself for. But then he heard a devastating click. His eyes widened. He felt the floor of the elevator start to shake. Shoving the book and the blanket off himself, he looked toward it where his foot was stretched. He had finally pushed it. He had pushed the red button. And that completes chapter 1.
Oh my god. Heart pounding. Chilling. I'm in anticipation. My god.
Yeah.
Up next, it's me. So back by, oddly enough, popular demand. In our first fanfiction episode, I wrote the factory for Sweet Sweet Revenge. This is what happened, basically. I had the 4 kids, Augustus, Veruca, Violet, and Mike, all meet together, and they're planning on getting revenge on Wonka. They're all older. They're adults now. Basically, we have a lot of chaos happen, and then they, after they made their plan, they go to this woman named Hannah, who's going to help them sneak into the factory. The last few words are, "We need you to sneak us into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory." Hannah eyed the 4 of them. "No way." "You must," Augustus said. "Yeah, bitch," Mike said. And that's where I left it. Apparently a cliffhanger big enough that people were like, we need to know more. And so I've written the next installment of the factory for Sweet Sweet Revenge.
Yay! I'm excited. I've been awaiting this.
Oh my goodness. Let's see how bad my Augustus voice is this time round. The night was warm, a sweat breaking out on the back of Augustus's neck. Though he knew no one was around, he couldn't help but feel like they would be caught at any moment. He turned around to make sure no one had followed them. Veruca was scowling, nails digging into her arms. Mike was also frowning, his cheeks still red from Hannah's slap. Violet's eyes darted around, alert and ready, and when they caught his, she only nodded in a silent agreement. It was time to take Willy Wonka down. Turning back around, Augustus followed Hannah down the next street and into an abandoned alleyway. While Augustus had a few contacts that could have helped him gain entry to the factory, Hannah was by far the best option. She ran an underground organic health foods run to and from the factory. The workers were severely malnourished from only eating sugar. When she could spare it, she sent over toothpaste, brushes, and packs of floss with notes attached about how many sins they are committing by not flossing, you ass. Down the alleyway, a door stood off to the side. Hannah approached it, knocked 3 times, said bonjour twice, and then licked the door. It swiftly opened, but no one was there. Just a flight of stairs leading into darkness. What is this place?
It never gets old. I'm so bad
It's
at
the
this.
best voice I've ever heard in my life. It's
Bad.
it's so good.
God, okay. What is this place? Augustus said. It's how you're going to enter the factory. Now listen up. My name is on the line here. So if you and your mutant freak friends fuck this up, there will be hell to pay. Hell to pay? Psh, I practically own hell, Veruca cried. Violet threw a hand over Veruca's mouth. We're trying to be stealthy, you idiot. Violet screeched suddenly, shaking her hand as Veruca grinned widely. You bit me. I hope you have access to a rabies shot, Augustus said. I once was bit by my friend Friedrich, who was this cutie little raccoon I found in the daylight, and it was awful. I thought raccoons didn't live in Europe, Violet said. Oh, that explains a lot, Augustus said, rubbing his chin. Does it? I do not have rabies, Veruca said. Do I really need to get a shot, though? Violet said, slightly worried. Mike clapped his hands together. Oh, yeah, okay, pro tip here. Don't clench when they stick you. Like, you're gonna want to, but if there's any fire in the cannon, if you know what I mean, you might drop some friends off at the pool, but the pool turns out to be the floor of an urgent care.
What? This isn't even about Willy Wonka anymore, and I love it.
It became so silent then. Even the stars above looked down in dismay. Hannah coughed. Right. Anyway, like I said, I hired you to help do a few broccoli runs, quote unquote, okay? But we do not know each other. Got it? You're going to pick up the boxes around the corner, walk down the hall, and drop them off. After that, what happens is none of my business, okay? The four nodded. Then I'll leave you to it. Wait, Augustus said, grabbing Hannah's hand. Thank you, truly. Hannah's tough demeanor fell slightly as she squeezed his hand. Don't get used to it, Gus.
Oh my god.
I hate watching this, Mike said. This is disgusting. Augustus wailed out suddenly and twirled Hannah, dropping her into a low dip. Hannah, this may be our last moment together. I can't bear to go on without having told you, without having said. He leaned in closer. Hannah's eyes widened, her hands wrapped in his hair. And then she headbutted him. He dropped her to the ground, stumbling backwards, holding his head. With a cry, he tripped through the doorway, and everyone heard Augustus crash down the stairs. That was amazing, Mike said. Me next! Hannah straightened up, dusted off her clothes, and with one final glare, walked away. Is this really our only option? Violet said. I don't like the feel of this. Also, what kind of underground illegal activity is happening in a weird basement where running the boxes is simply picking them up from one end of the hallway to the other? Like, am I missing something? Shouldn't this be more complex? Like, the boxes are already here. Why do they need a runner? Don't worry, Violet. This is just like my father's peanut business and our ties to the cartel. As long as you don't ask questions, you're good. Another bonus, you can receive marriage proposals disguised as kidnapping threats. But they're real. Don't worry. And in my case, my father even considered how much money he could get from my suitors to ensure they were serious about their intentions of marrying me. It's a great system because so far no one has thought I'm worth the price. I feel like health food smuggling isn't the same as sneaking drugs into a country, or debating off selling off a daughter, Violet said. Selling? No, I told you it was marriage proposals, not kidnapping threats. Meanwhile, Augustus stood up, holding his head. He thought he and Hannah had something. The way she had smiled at him, the way she had said hi to him, the way that her glance would occasionally look at him, or how she would open a door and maybe hold it a little bit and go, oh, here you go, as a silent mumble, a great, casual gesture that really struck a chord in his heart. If he hadn't needed his revenge in the first place, Hannah never would have turned her back on him, her heart on him. This never would have happened. Another thing that Wonka took away from Augustus. His anger fueled his movements as he made his way down the dimly lit hall. This health food smuggling ring was once only a rumor to him, a children's nightmare story. Now, as he picked up a box of foul-smelling vegetables, the nightmare came crashing down as he took one step after another. until he fell on his face because it was completely dark. "Oh, look, a light switch," Veruca said. Suddenly, the hallway was lit. It really was small. The other three came down and saw Augusta splayed out on the floor. "Oh God, did he finally die?" Mike said. "Shit, I just lost so many bets." "I'm alive, you gunslinging cyborg silly putty skateboard," Augusta said. "Sick," Mike said. "Get up and grab those boxes before I shove this broccoli down your throat and drown you in vitamins," Augustus said. Mildly terrified of Augustus, the others did as he told. They walked for 50 seconds before dropping off the boxes by what looked to be a laundry chute. "I guess this is where we go in," Violet said. "Who wants to go first?" Turning around, she saw both Augustus and Veruca standing completely still, the color drained from their faces. "Is that a chute?" Veruca whispered. How big is that tube?" Augustus said. "Will I get stuck?" "We don't even know where that leads," Veruca said frantically. That could take us anywhere, like a burning furnace." "We could all get stuck and die," Augustus said. "Damn that gorgeous angelic sugar cube Hannah. She should have told me."
I want to watch this TV show. Like, I'm so invested. And like, you give Augustus a character and you let him be the ringleader. I feel like he deserves that after how dirty Roald Dahl did him.
I feel like he needed a jilted lover arc, and I'm hoping it comes around. Don't worry, we probably have a stupid amount of chapters left.
This podcast is going on for way too long, so
Jesus Christ. Okay, she should have told me. "What's up your butt, guys? This is how we get to the factory to fuck over the Wonk," Mike said. "Please stop calling him the Wonk." "Never! I can't do it," Augustus said. He jumped into Veruca's arms, terrified. They both fell swiftly. I'm dying, Veruca cried out. "Jesus, Mike, help me out," Violet said. Mike popped an unknown pill in his mouth, roared, and picked up both Augustus and Veruca before throwing them down.
Is he fucking limitless? What the hell is that?
Before throwing them down the chute. "I am God," Mike said. Cool. "Jesus Christ," Violet said. "Get in there." Mike barked and high-fived himself before sliding down the chute. Violet paused, looked around, and then raised her watch to her lips. "Everything's going according to plan, boss. I'll let you know once we arrive."
Oh my God.
End of chapter 2.
Elaine, this is so good. This should have been the sequel to the book.
I know, like, not a lot of, like, movement happened, but we really needed to set up, like,
no,
what I mean? Like,
that was amazing.
We got some good character. Mike, unfortunately, I think is my favorite character.
Yeah.
And Augustus, clearly.
Yeah, we could see. But everything about that was perfect. I have no notes. No notes.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Should I, like, submit this somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Netflix is trying to make their Roald Dahl-verse, all their little TV shows. They should make this one because I would watch. Anyway.
Kid friendly.
So kid friendly. All right.
Beautiful. Hit me up.
We getting back? We get him back?
He's hit the red button. What's going to happen next?
All right. Let me have another burp real quick. Alrighty. We're on to chapter 2, A Surprise Adventure. Soon, Willy found himself hurtling through space at speeds he'd never before encountered. He was being thrown this way and that as he hadn't been able to strap himself down before takeoff, according to procedure. Planets and stars were whizzing by, and Wonka almost was worried about the well-being of his beloved elevator. And, well, for his own well-being. See, the red button was never designed to be pushed. When the construction of the elevator was nearing completion, he invited his right-hand man and security warden, Hugh, to come to a safety check. Mel Stewart slipped through. I'm sorry. Hugh found no problems except for one, a cluster of loose wires in the middle left panel. Wonka thought it'd be an easy fix, just solder them together and be on his way, but no, of course not. Somehow, this collection of little fire hazards held the key to making the elevator work. The project was pushed back months, but his act of desperation of placing a big button on it somehow fixed it, and he definitely wasn't going to question it. So he kept the button and covered it with a big, thick glass barrier and a lovely sign, "Dear God, do not press," courtesy of the art department. Now as the elevator hurtled at light speed toward edges of the galaxy, Wonka thought to himself, wait, how could I have pushed it when there was a heavy glass barrier? How could Hugh not have caught this? But then he remembered that he had removed it to install the Wonka Chair 3.0. The armrest had needed extra room. Shit. That was on him. The elevator came to an abrupt stop in front of a massive black hole in the middle of some galaxy. Wonka readjusted his top hat. Wow, a real-life Ganuli hole. I never thought I'd see one in person. Wonka started to search for the Polaroid camera release button he had installed in the elevator because he always forgot to bring a camera in his adventuring backpack. But before he could spot the little gold nugget, the elevator lurched forward, surging Wonka straight into the Ganuli hole. From the sheer force, Wonka was knocked onto his butt and felt himself losing consciousness from the disorientation of it all. He saw bright flashing colors through the walls of the glass elevator as his eyes slowly closed. We're going to move on to the next chapter. Wonka does some self-reflection. Hey. Wonka's eyes fluttered open and was met with the sight of a cartoonish-looking brown-haired man leaning over him. Your elevator landed on my new project. I'm going to need to charge you for damages. Plus, you probably scratched the floor, so I'm going to have to add that on there too, the man said. There was something familiar about him, something Willy couldn't quite put his finger on. He sat up and started to get his bearings, and it almost looked like he had never left that morning. He was sitting in a near-exact copy of his inventing room. The only difference was a hole in the wall exactly shaped like a cartoon cat and mouse. Willy turned to face his greeter. Oh, pardon me. I seem to have taken a bit of a fall. Could you tell me your name? The other gentleman smirked. Wonka. Willy Wonka. Holy shit, that's my name too! Wonka jumped to his feet and grabbed his cartoon double by the shoulders. I know, I looked at your ID card in your jacket pocket. You should really get a new one. It's been expired by about 10 years. Oh, poppycock, I've no need for a license. I'm practically above the law. And why would I drive when I've got this fantastic elevator? But of course, you must know all about that. Yes, but one can never underestimate the power of a commuter sedan in an emergency. Wonka nodded solemnly, and then a smile slowly spread across his face. He never felt this engaged in a conversation, so enlightened. This man understood him and challenged him, but not in ways that were stupid, like that dumb kid Mike TV, but in ways he deserved to be challenged. He really had overlooked the sedan. The two Wonkas caught each other's gaze, and Wonkas realized his hand was still grasped on his new companion's shoulders. As he let go, they were suddenly interrupted by a loud crash. And that's the end of that segment. So I'm sorry, I know you're not a big Tom and Jerry Wonka fan, but it just felt right.
No, I accept.
I don't even like TJ Wonka, but I just felt...
You're convincing me, right? Like, I kind of brought... Look, we discussed, he's on my smash list. That, unfortunately, is public domain. That's not how that works. It's public domain. How? Write that story. Jesus, no. That's public information now, unfortunately. So, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, I really...
This is like a really good bedtime story, TBH. Like, I want to... Felicia, I'm imagining us going camping and we have our little
also
lanterns
very
on,
scary.
Like telling our version of scary stories, which just happens to be Willy Wonka fanfiction. Totally. And then you try to read one of your horror novels out loud to me, and I was
very much trying to channel a bit of
like
Roald Dahl when I wrote this one. I tried to follow the story structure that he would do, which is just like absurd insanity, you know?
Oh yes,
I was trying to evoke that.
I was going to say
bit.
the chapter titles remind me of the book. Oh, you did.
Oh my God,
hit
thank
it.
you so much.
Wait. This is a nail. Here's a hammer.
My brain just
Hit
thought to myself,
head.
my nose looks red. I look like a little
Nailed
Keebler
it.
elf. I don't know why I thought that about myself. It was just really weird. I saw myself and my brain went, Keebler elf, motherfucker. And I was like,
Felicia, the little Keebler elf. I am going to read my final fiction of the day.
I did get
and
a
this
little
might be my
teaser
favorite
of you
story.
Texting me slightly
and you'll know
about
why
this,
very quickly.
I'm anticipating, and I'm a little nervous.
I think that's fair. You shouldn't be too... I want to clarify, guys. I did not go graphic this time around, okay? I know I really pushed the envelope with Grandpa Joe last time, and I'm proud of it, but don't worry. This is not what's happening there. So I'm not going to read the title to you because I think it kind of gives it away. So I'll say that later. But here we go. The clock tower started to bong as the red-coated man walked out of the shop. He kept his head down, presumably to hide his identity. A hilarious attempt, really. The man was Walter Knotts, a mediocre baker whose favorite color was, well, red. He enjoyed pancakes over waffles, and who happened to know the recipe for a candy that could make you just a smidge taller. Walter turned the corner and slowed down as he approached the bus stop. From what the agency had gathered, Walter was a nervous man, known to fidget and tick. It was predictable, then, that the recipe in his front coat pocket would weigh heavy upon him. Maybe start to itch. When he took the envelope out to fan himself, it was the opening the agent needed. Like lightning, a long tongue struck the envelope and carried it upward. Walter let out a cry, twisting his neck to see where the recipe had gone. But it was too late at that point. No one was there. The recipe was gone. All Walter could hear over his own beating heart was an ominous ribbiting in the distance.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Fickle Grubber paused once he was a few blocks away. He moved fast for a frog, and after years of training with the chocolate spies, he'd learned how to hop quickly, steal rides, and avoid getting eaten by birds. He was alerted by the cackle of his walkie-talkie. He pressed the button on his wrist. "This is Fickle Grubber, over." "Fickle Grubber, did you get it?" "Yes, I'm almost there." "Good, we'll debrief soon. Over." Okay, so I'm a little stressed. I don't know what the voice should be. I don't know if it should be like, "Hello, I'm Fickle Grubber," or if it should be like, "It's me, Fickle Grubber." I can't. Is you the listener? We'll play around. Okay. Okay. Fickle Grubber. Oh Jesus! Fickle Grubber followed the usual path, slipping through the vents of an old house until he was inside a den filled with dusty books. He hopped over to the desk and threw the envelope down. "Easy as pie," he joked, "because he's a baker. Get it?" The chair spun around, revealing a man in a striking suit stroking his white beard. "That's not funny," Wolf Blitzer gave out a quick laugh.
Elaine texted me.
"Excellent work,
Elaine texted
Fickle
me,
Grubber."
"I'm writing Fickle Grubber and Wolf Blitzer
That's
fanfiction."
right,
And I was like, okay, so Fickle Grubber is a character mentioned literally in one line in the novel, and Wolf Blitzer is a news broadcaster.
A real-life news broadcaster for CNN who was mentioned in our Wonka reality TV show episode, which is just straight up fictional.
Yeah, you're doing fanfiction of the podcast at this point. But I love it. I'm so excited.
Wolf, I gotta ask, can we make this make you taller candy and I can have some? I know I'm pretty big for a frog already, but it'd just be nice to literally see the other agents eye to eye. Have they been bullying you again? Wolf Blitzer asked. No. It was a lie. The other spies called him squish meat, tiny ant, fly, bird food, and worst of all, Yoshi from Mario Bros. He was a strong-willed frog, but that didn't mean their words couldn't cut right to his heart. Don't let it get to you, Wolf said, gently tapping Fickle Grubber's bowler hat on his head. You're a courageous, hard-working, amazing chocolate spy. Their bullying reveals their own weaknesses. It's just hard being a frog sometimes, Fickle Grubber said, hugging himself. Like, no matter what I do, it isn't enough. I know.
I want to give Fickle Grubber a hug.
I know, me too. I'm like very emotionally fragile lately, and I almost cried because I love him so much. Okay. Do you want a glass of whiskey and the DVD box set of Gilmore Girls Season 2? Fickle Grubber nodded. You always know how to make me feel better, Wolf. That's what friends are for, Fickle.
Aww.
The shrieking alarm woke Fickle Grubber up, his body leaping up and gripping the wall out of instinct. It took him a beat to find Wolf, looking around wildly. What's going on? Fickle Grubber yelled. Someone's found us. Run! Wolf said. I'll hold them off. No, wait, I can help. You're too important to the mission, Fickle Grubber. Here. Wolf quickly rummaged through his desk and pulled out an envelope. See it through. What do you mean? A loud clattering came from outside the door. There's no time. Hop, Fickle Grubber. Hop as fast as you can. Wolf turned around and grabbed a sword from a pretentious knight armor stand by his desk. With a battle cry, he ran forward. This is for CNN, the Chocolate Spies News Network.
Oh my god, Elaine. That's amazing.
Fickle Grubber let out a small ribbit for his friend and then hopped through the open window, clutching the envelope in his mouth. He had no idea where to go, so he followed his instincts, which led him to a murky pond. Sitting on a lily pad, he tried to catch his breath. Since his lungs were so tiny, it was pretty easy for him to hyperventilate. Venting spells were pretty common for him, another thing the bullies mocked him for. He hoped Wolf was okay. He had to be okay. He was by far the most experienced agent at Season N, having gathered hundreds of intel over the years. Chocolate-covered potato chips, Wolf's find. Dippin' Dots, uncovered over his spring break in Tampa. Four Loko, right after his knitting class. The man was unstoppable. Fickle Grubber looked up to him, though Wolf had never made Fickle Grubber feel small. Oh. I wrote the damn thing. What am I doing? Okay. A single tear ran down his frog cheek. God damn it. He would have thought it pathetic had Wolf not taught him that vulnerability was perhaps the greatest strength of all. Ensuring he was alone, Fickle Grubber opened the envelope Wolf had thrust at him and began to read the report. Classified document X3209. Subject matter: Wilbur H. Wonka, everlasting gobstopper. Status: urgent. Notes: Wilbur Willy Wonka, renowned chocolatier and candy maker, is known to be in possession of a recipe for an everlasting gobstopper. Defined, a hard candy that can never be finished. Data analysts have predicted the health, economic, and political ramifications of these recipes on society, all in the red berry blast category. Wonka's factory is highly secured and is believed to be armed. Lack of intel prevents Season N from retrieving the recipe. The council will hold an emergency meeting once a mole is properly planted. Fickle Grubber had never heard of a case being labeled as Red Berry Blast, the most dangerous code. A candy that could never be finished? He imagined a fly that could never be fully eaten. It sounded like torture. Did Wolf really think Fickle Grubber could pull this off? Clearly someone had squealed on their hideout. Maybe no other person could be trusted with this case. The temptation too high. But to a frog, candy didn't have the same appeal. Fickle Grubber spent the rest of the night at the pond, formulating plan after plan on how to steal the recipe from Wonka. Every Season N agent knew that simply stealing the recipe wasn't enough. The creator knew it in their mind. It was all about producing their own version of it, mild blackmailing, and ensuring that they would have no desire to move forward with their creations. But Willy Wonka was different. He wasn't a no-name baker. He was the Candyman. Everyone knew of him, practically worshipped the ground he walked on. It wouldn't be so easy to deter a man of his status and power. There was only one way to attack this. Head on.
Oh my god.
Fickle Grubber adjusted his bowler hat, dusted off his pale blue tuxedo, and stretched out his long legs. Staring off into the rising sun, he whispered to himself, "I'm a chocolate spy, and I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence." He paused. Horseflies, why do I always get it wrong? Until next time.
Oh my god, that was so exciting.
I was thinking about Fickle Grubber because I clearly had to write something, right? And then I was thinking, who would be like the Q? You know, who is the Wade in this Kim Possible situation? And I was like, it's Wolf Blitzer.
Obviously.
And then I was thinking,
naturally.
and then I was thinking, wait, this has to be like a crime caper kind of vibe, like an action, just detective thing. And that is the chaotic direction I went. And I'm so excited to continue this. I just wanted to throw a little bit of a beginning setup.
Season N was amazing. I threw in the drop zone. I was picturing Fickle Grubber as this character from this children's book I read called Froggy the whole time, and I looked up a little photo of him for you to see.
Oh, he's so cute.
Right? That's what I was picturing.
I think the final voice I ended up with was Kermit.
A little bit.
Like Kermit with a little bit of Boston. You know?
Yeah, it was interesting. I liked it though. It felt real.
We figured it out together. We figured that out together.
Journey. It was very wholesome and made me so happy. It had like Paddington if he was a spy. That's what I felt like I was listening to.
Oh my god. That is such high praise. I love so little good. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I love Fickles. Nope.
So now we've just got the last portion of my insane mega fan fiction. We are just about halfway through. So strap yourselves in because it's about to get wild.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
So this next chapter is titled A Family Reunion. Crash! Glass rained down on the two Wonkas as elevators came hurtling through the ceiling. 5 glass elevators all landed in a semicircle around them, and the one in the middle opened with a burst of fog. Well, hello, my mirror friends. I'm surprised it took you this long to cause enough trouble for me to show up. A man in a purple suit and a top hat stepped out of the elevator, cane in hand. His voice was melodic, American, and projecting to the back of the room. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm a Wonka, just like you two. My friends call me Christian, but you can call me a good time. Christian Wonka paused for laughter, but none came. All right, well, you, that gangly fluffer nutter on the right, are known as Rolled Wonka, and you on the left, you're TJ Wonka. And if you have a problem with the names, you can talk to the manager. Christian Wonka did a little turn on his heel and started speaking in a mediocre Christopher Walken impression. Hello, it's me, the manager. He was again met with silence. Man, tough crowd. TJ Wonka took a step towards Christian. Hold on, what on earth is going on here? Christian sighed. God, I always have to explain things to idiots. Okay, all across the multiverse, there's a bunch of different Wonkas. We kept running into each other and causing havoc and shit, so I decided to take matters into my own hands, make a bit of a Wonka squad, if you will. We've been going strong for a few years now, but you guys are about to put a wrench in our whole plan. Rolled Wonka raised his eyebrows. Hold on, why were we never involved in this? Christian doubled over laughing. Duh! My god, you guys are so annoying. Like, have you met yourselves? Jesus, I feel like I'm talking to my dad. All 3 of them cringed at that mention. Sorry, too far. Christian apologized. But no, really, there are some Wonkas that we're never supposed to meet. And you two were some of them. Call it fate or whatever, but your Broncos are bucking all over the multiverse and threatening a collapse. Here, let me introduce you to, well, you. In an impeccably choreographed moment, the elevator on the far left opened up with another burst of fog. A man in a slightly shoddily constructed suit with a face a little like Ted Danson stepped out. Ah, there he is, face of our operations. Gentlemen, meet Mark, a magician by trade and candy salesman by virtue. He's who handles our negotiations with foreign powers, our Secretary of State, if you will. While Christian introduced him, Mark performed some fancy little card shuffles. Another pair of doors opened, another puff of smoke. Next is Johnny. Now, he's weird as hell, but he's probably the best inventor out of all of us, so he does a lot of our R&D. I mean, we make all of our candy, but this is the guy who makes weapons of mass destruction. Johnny gave a flip of his impeccably conditioned hair. The second to last pair of doors opened. A young man with severe features stepped out. Here he is, Robin to my Batman, our baby of the group. This is Timmy Wonka. He's the sneakiest little guy you'll ever meet. Do not trust him. He has stolen so many Whitney Houston CDs from me. He's a trained killer, and you don't want to get on his bad side. He's kind of our assassin, our wassassin, if you will. Timmy Wonka pulled a knife out of his back pocket. I got very into the Christian Wonka character. I was having the time of my life, man.
Amazing. Oh my god.
One more pair of doors slid open, releasing another intense wave of fog. A pair of hands gripped around the door as it slipped open, and a tall figure appeared from the darkness of the elevator. The last Wonka was significantly taller than anyone else, his head almost reaching the ceiling. His arms were like long sticks stretched out in a way that just felt wrong.
No.
And that's...
No.
Puppet Wonka. No! He's who we send when people need a little convincing. Christian Wonka said to TJ and rolled, clearly avoiding looking at the 9-foot Wonka to his right. Rolled Wonka did a little wave. Well, absolutely lovely to meet you all. TJ Wonka, who was standing a little bit behind Rolled and laying a hand on his arm, as a comfort thing, nodded in agreement. Oh, likewise, Christian Wonka said. Unfortunate we'll have to be saying goodbye so soon. Boys, I'm afraid it's time for you to meet your candy maker. And now we're on to the next chapter, A Compromise. Timmy rushed at TJ and rolled, knife raised in the air. Rolled, on account of his long legs, was able to dodge out of the way, dragging TJ behind. Wait, hold on! Rolled shouted. Timmy sneered. What, scared of a little blade? Yes, actually, TJ Wonka said. God damn it, you were right, Rolled turned to TJ. This never would have happened if we were in a sedan. A smile spread across TJ Wonka's face. There must be some other way. I'd rather not die today, which I think you all can understand. All the other Wonkas nodded solemnly. Christian Wonka sighed over dramatically and threw his head up towards the ceiling. Ugh, fine. All right, so there is a way to not have to kill both of you, but it's definitely a long shot. TJ, your world is like super messed up. You've got some animals that can talk and some that don't, and some that don't, and that weird little mouse Oompa Loompa. It's fucked up. So Rold being here, it's just kind of putting like too much weird energy into the world, and it'll explode or something. I don't really fully understand it. Who gives a shit? TJ Wonka spoke up. So what do we need to do? Well, you're not going to want to hear this, TJ, but you need to give up your factory and hop ship back with Rold back to his slightly less fucked up dimension. Which I didn't suggest because, like, I know us. All of us are still wrapping our little tentacles around the factory with Charlie at the helm. If I know anything about myself, I know that none of you guys would leave your life's work entirely. TJ Wonka furrowed his brow. Actually, this place is kind of a mess. Charlie insisted that I let this cat live here, and to be honest, he's an absolute nuisance. He pointed dramatically at the hole in the wall left by Tom. I mean, do you see that? I had to deal with so much here. I've been getting constant headaches. So I guess, like, I'm not totally opposed to taking another dimension for a spin. TJ turned to Rold. That's assuming you'd be alright with it. Rold felt an initial rush of hostility, having to share the credit for his life's work with someone else beside the buckets who were already causing enough problems for him. But then he remembered how at ease he felt with TJ earlier, and realized perhaps this could give him the rest he so desired. Rold clapped a hand on TJ's story. Oh, whoa. Rold clapped a hand on TJ's shoulder. The factory could always use an extra set of hands. Christian Wonka threw his hands out exasperately. See, this is why I never talk to you guys. You're such buzzkills. That's not his voice. See, this is why I never talk to you guys. You're such buzzkills. He turned to his Wonka squad. All right, boys, looks like it's time to hit the road. We're gonna have to fulfill the puppet's blood sacrifice elsewhere. The 6 Wonkas returned to the elevators that crashed down and shot back up into space, creating 6 more holes in the roof, which now reached a grand total of 13. TJ turned to Rold. Well, at least I don't have to clean that up anymore. Epilogue. TJ and Rold returned to Rold's factory and began their work as a team. Despite his initial hesitation, Rold found a fantastic companion in TJ and felt really understood for the first time in his life. Him and TJ became close in a way he had never had, even with the buckets, and their work together improved the factory's efficiency immensely. Rold's stresses about the performances of products diminished and transformed into more mundane concerns, things like what they make for dinner and what they would play on Wednesday's game night. As Charlie grew older, the 2 Wonkas found it easier than they had ever imagined to pass the torch, because now they had something to treasure besides the factory. They had each other.
Oh my god, Felicia. Felicia, that was fucking amazing.
Thank you.
You like wrote because sometimes I know that we get these Wonkas from their actual canon, so they do have their own stories and stuff, but I feel like you, with the little crumbs we have, so accurately portrayed what these Wonkas would be like as a character and interacting. And the fact that Christian Wonka has a Wonka squad and Timothée Chalamet is going to murder everybody. And like when Puppet Wonka came out, I unfortunately saw that scene play out so vividly in my head.
I knew you would.
That will be what my nightmare is tonight.
I'm so sorry.
When his hands were gripping the door. Ow! Oh my god. I love that. So, like,
I feel like I got possessed by Christian Wonka in the middle of that. I don't know what happened.
You wrote that so well, also. Like, Christian
you.
Wonka to a fucking T.
I was very proud of myself.
God. That's fucking
I was like,
5 gold stars.
Thank you. I was like, I hate that I can easily do this. I hate that this is a skill I have.
Felicia and I were talking about this throughout our writing process, and we were like, why are the Wonka fan fictions just so easily to be like some of our best work? You know, like
when I was like
we can just
16,
do it so well.
I said, if I could make a living writing bad fan fiction, I would be the happiest person on this planet. And you know what? I haven't changed my mind.
One step closer.
I'd be rich as hell. I did want to, sorry, I meant to bring this up before we got into my fan fiction, but I wanted to go back through the text when you broke it to me. You were writing about Fickle Grubber and Wolf Blitzer. You sent to me, I will tell you now, I'm writing about Fickle Grubber and Wolf Blitzer. And then you wrote, but not eggplant emoji. Hee hee hee. And I said, okay, good. And you said, bestiality is where I draw the line. And I said, oh yeah, that would be bad. And you said, for now. I mean, and you went, yeah, I'm having beer right now. And then sent a bunch of emojis of eyeballs with a wine glass. And I said, yes. That was the end of our conversation.
I had a few at that point. Indeed,
It was just a very entertaining conversation. I was like, I feel like I need to bring that back up. But
you should be honored to get a drunk text from Elaine is
yeah,
a true sign of love. So
I feel loved. Damn. I felt loved when you threatened bestiality against me. Loved is definitely what I would describe the emotion I had in that moment.
It's just one of those things too where like I had to predict what you would be thinking of me having to actively say that because I felt the need to clarify. I was like, I know just to squash any
you
possible
gotten
leaks.
Rough last time, so
yeah, I was like, I
will be honest.
I
had mentally prepared myself. I'm like, there is a 10% chance she's gonna write Felicia x Christian Wonka, and I don't want her to write it, but I also want her to write it, and I also don't want her to write it.
I was so close. But I had to spend my time on Fickle Grubber, but that's not to say that next time this might not pop up.
But I had emotionally prepared myself in case it happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you should never trust yourself around me.
Yes.
Don't keep you on your toes. You'll never know what's coming out of this brain.
Elaine, we ended up under an hour and 30 minutes. I'm so proud of us.
Damn, genuinely kind of shocked.
I'm really shocked. That's like less than last time.
I'm so proud of us. Wow.
And our fanfictions were so good. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but I'm patting you on the back and you're patting me on the back.
Well, it's like I want to read more of yours, and I feel like that's.
And I want to read more of yours.
Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Oh my gosh,
we're like each other's biggest fan. Guys.
Oh my god, you're like so cool. Can you?
Oh my god, you're so cool. Stop it.
You stop it.
Stop it.
So stop it. Fuck up.
Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Wonka Watch.
Prequel Predictions. Welcome to the fucking Wonka Watch podcast where Felicia never remembers that the whole point of this and me too
is the one who pitched it. I came up with the idea.
This whole thing is leading up to the prequel coming out December 15th and what we do at the end of every episode. We make a prediction about
Elaine, if you said we're summoning in a new energy, what does this mean? What energy are we summoning? I'm glad we all agree Christian Wonka is the ringleader, though. I'm glad that that's like a universal fact for some reason. Anyway, predictions. Jesus Christ.
Okay. I am going to predict that Target will release a weird exclusive Willy Wonka themed clothing line. And I don't know what department, but I'm throwing it out there.
All right. I'm down for it. I am going to predict that there's an Easter egg of one of the... most of my predictions are Easter eggs. I've been learning looking back through them.
But that's okay.
It
makes sense.
I'm going to say that there's an Easter egg that one of the children who goes through the factories' parents are in Wonka.
Oh.
So like Mr. Salt or like Miss Gloop.
Like little nods. I love that.
Yes, that
so
feels
much.
right. That feels like that could happen, right?
Especially for like
That
Paul
should
King
happen.
and everybody. Like that's such a... Oh, that's good. That's a good... Ooh, I feel like it's been a while, like, since we've had
a half decent prediction. I'm going back in the fish tank. Did you see that? I was going back into the fish tank. Wait, is that a joke I made with you or one of my other friends? Fuck.
That's somebody else.
There's this thing where sometimes late at night, my camera starts to go green and it looks like I'm in a fish tank at the back of a Chinese food restaurant. And it was happening for a second.
I know it was such a short amount of time, but I cannot tell you where my brain went. I was like, fuck, I forgot another stupid fucking thing we said on this podcast. Oh God, and then you know me, I was like, do I play into it? Do I pretend? And now I'm like, no, we're being honest. We're admitting our faults here.
No, it's
God
fine.
bless.
I was like, it's you or my friend Michaela, and I can't remember who. There it is. Look, there it is.
Oh my God, you are entering the fish tank. Oh my gosh.
Right?
Whoa.
And now I'm back. Why are you in the fish tank? You're like really good at that.
I like have never done that in my entire life, and I love this new
You're
party
like
skill.
so good at
I'm
it. It's
so good.
crazy.
Oh my god! Like I will add that to my
I
list
like we
of
just
things.
become two drunk girls in the bathroom
I
complimenting each other about literally anything. Thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Wonka Watch. If you enjoyed this episode, you know, I'm happy you did. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok if you want to compensate us for damages of some kind. You can support us at buymeacoffee.com/WonkaWatch. Wonka Watch. I shouldn't do funny accents when it's like
otherwise
a
people are
thing
going to spell it wrong, and they're going to be like, "What?"
You can also email us at wonkarapture@gmail.com, which is pretty cool. Isn't that sick as hell?
I just want to emphasize, we accept everything except for bestiality. We do have a line. We
have a line.
We draw the line there.
We draw the
Unless
line
it's like Fickle Grabber having a little fickle frog friend.
But that wouldn't be
not
bestiality. That's
Okay.
just frog sex. Why did I say that?
I don't know
why
why did I say that in the first place?
How did we get here?
How did we get? We're having a flash flood in the Wonka well. Okay, thank you
no,
guys.
the kiddie pool that got ripped in the water.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It doesn't
Little
really
tiny
matter.
Felicia, she's going down the drain. Oh no!
It's not that important. It's not that important. It's not that important. If we just keep saying it, it'll finally become true. It's not that important.
It's not that important. Goodbye.